What are you so afraid? Okay, let's get this road on the show. You guys, it is so boring. I want to scream. We're at that point. That was the soda's backwash from the soda I was drinking. By the way, my name is Crystal and welcome to my channel. If you're new, if you are returning, oh my God, God bless you, because the fact that people even watch my videos blows my mind because I'm kind of lame. But, you know, I feel like maybe my story can help someone. So I'm just going to try to be as helpful as possible on my journey through time and space, because who knows, even if this video only helps one person, I'm doing my duty as a citizen to the United States. Okay, back to business. So just a little background on me. Coming out of high school to undergrad, I received 5 scholarships, 3 academic scholarships and 2 other like little smaller scholarships. And I received like over, I think I calculated one day and it was like $480,000 in scholarship funding, and that isn't like a boast or anything. It's just like that was the dedication of literally locking myself in my room after school every day, filling out scholarship applications. I kept a journal of every scholarship I was going to apply to, and then when I applied to them, I marked them off. And every time I got rejected from a scholarship, I filled out 2 more. And so it was just like one of those things where I knew that going to school was my dream. And I come from a very low income background, a single parent household with 9 other siblings. And I knew that getting scholarships, getting funding was the only way I was going to make it out of my hometown to a really good university. So I'm very thankful that God allowed me to receive those scholarships, because I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for that funding. But I did come from undergrad, or from high school straight into undergrad. I went to school at Auburn University and got my undergrad degree in sociology and got my master's there in human development and family studies. I'm getting my master's, my second master's now, which is a whole other story. It wasn't planned, but I'm getting that now at George Washington University. And then I'll be starting my doctorate at Yale University this spring. Okay, so that's kind of just like a brief recap of my last 7 years in college. And I also serve as an academic success coach for GW. So basically I helped undergrads who were struggling academically become, get off of academic probation. And it was definitely an eye-opener. I think that was probably one of the best jobs I've ever had in college, aside from serving in the military. Now that I did like a quick recap of like my story and where I'm coming from and where I'm going, I really want to get into this advice, and I'll start with what I feel like all of this advice is equally as important, but I'll start with the advice that I feel like is the kind of like least important to the most important. Number 1, invest and save your money. I know that this is a little weird because you're like, I'm going into undergrad, like what money? I have no money to invest and save. But if you're in a situation where you do receive a refund check from college, or you do have the opportunity to work, I would say what I wish I knew back then was to save and invest my money. Like, you don't want to spend your money on foolish things. Like, I think I spent my money on shopping sometimes, like, and I have more than enough clothes, and it's just like, if I could go back now, like, I would save some of that money and I would have put it towards maybe invested in like property or something, because honestly I was getting like that much money back that I could have invested in like a small piece of property or something like that. And I have a commander now in my current unit who told me that his father told him to invest and save his refund checks and invest in property and stuff like that, and now he's like making a lot of money. So just something, if you're able to do it, I would say this is probably like really sound advice. So yeah, so if this advice kind of just like resonates with you, like I hope that it's something that you can take going into college. Like, just don't spend your money on stupid things. And this is not just advice for college freshmen, this is like for adult life in general. Like, so number 2, not knowing what you want to study or spend the rest of your college career doing or learning about is totally normal. On average, the typical college student changes their major about 5 times. I changed mine once. I went into undergrad as a chemistry major, realized that it wasn't necessarily for me. There are some people who have it all figured out. Like, they wanted to be a dentist when they were little. They, went pre-med, they did everything they needed to do, and now they're a dentist. And that is totally fine. Like, some people know what they want to do going into college, and they do it, and they're successful in it, and that's fine. But if you're one of those people like me who kind of just was kind of thrown in this world and told to, figure out what it is that you want to do for the rest of your life coming out of high school, and you had no idea. It was just like, I'm still discovering myself, and I'm still figuring out what I want to do, and that is totally normal and totally okay. So don't panic, you're okay. You're normal. So that is a good segue into tip number 3. Try to join different clubs. Like, I walked onto the track team, and I also got an Army ROTC scholarship, so I was a part of the Army ROTC program. And so being involved with those 2 organizations really helped me establish like a nice friend group. So I was able to meet new people as a freshman. We were all in the same boat. We were all, fresh out of our hometown, away from home for the first time, and we were just trying to find our way and discover ourselves. It helps you meet new people, and it helps you kind of get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Number 4. And this is about the summer courses. So summer classes are sometimes offered depending on your degree, depending on your school, but sometimes they offer summer courses. My advice to you would be, if you can, just take 1 or 2 classes during the summer. Don't take anything too crazy, because the last thing you want to do during the summer is to be in a classroom. But I will say that taking summer classes really alleviated a lot of the stress that I might have had during the semester, especially when I was trying to graduate. I always took half summers, because I wanted to have some time during the summer to just relax and unwind and really get my head together before going into the next semester. And that leads us into number 5. So my 5th piece of advice would be to take more classes in the beginning of your major versus the end. So when you're at the end of your degree, and 4 years goes by really fast. Someone told me that, college is going to fly by. I didn't believe them until I blinked and I was at, graduation. But I will definitely say that taking more classes in the beginning of your educational journey would benefit you versus waiting to the end. By the time you're at the end of your degree, you're exhausted. Like, 4 years of just class and everything that goes with being a college student, I will probably say, and just for me, like my experience being in school actually isn't difficult. Like, I love being in a classroom. I love going to school. I love learning new things. The most difficult part about college was honestly just life happening outside of college. So my 6th piece of advice would be to take electives outside of your major. Like, let's be honest, like, most people don't really know what they want to study going straight from high school to undergrad. It takes you really experimenting and figure out what's offered to you, what's available to you. And the only way you'll do that is if you take things that are outside of your major. My last piece of advice is probably the most important thing I could ever say to you. If you don't remember anything out of this video, please just take advice number 7 and network. Networking has changed my life, and I would hear this at professional seminars and stuff like that, professional development seminars, and how everyone would talk about the importance of networking, connecting with people, collaborating, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. But honestly, if I didn't network, I would not have made it to Yale University, and I know that for a fact because I was able to meet with someone in the department who was doing the exact same research that I was interested in, and we shared a similar vision. But if I wouldn't have reached out to this professor, if I wouldn't have networked, it would not have worked out, because he wouldn't have known anything about me. I would just have known about his work and I would have been interested. But it takes you really getting out of your comfort zone and talking to people, especially if you're interested in graduate school. And it's okay if you don't know that now. Like I said, this is advice for college freshmen or anyone in college, whether you're just undergrad in general. Like, you really have to network, because people won't know about you unless they hear from you. And it's so easy to just go to class and go home and do your work and show up for class and keep on that same cycle. But it takes faith and it takes courage to really get out there and talk to people. And honestly, you won't know the possibilities that are available for you unless you talk, unless you open your mouth and say, hey, this is who I am and this is what I have to offer. Because if you're afraid of stepping out and if you're afraid of making mistakes, you're never going to get anywhere, because making mistakes and that struggle and that uncertainty is really what should drive you to really go after your dreams. Because I would say that all things are possible, because when I think about where I come from and, the obstacles that were stacked against me, none of that mattered compared to the level of faith I had in my dreams. And I wouldn't define my success by, society's terms. I define my success because I never gave up faith in my dreams, and I never stopped working towards my dreams. And even now I'm still working to see the vision that I have for my life and the life that is going to help serve people. But I would argue that networking and actually growing as a student outside of the classroom is what helps you be a successful student. Because if I had just went to school and just got my degree and not said anything and not done anything extra, it would have been very difficult for me to manifest my dreams and make them a reality. And just some bonus tips, just things that kind of helped me get through. My life became a lot easier when I got a planner or when I started writing things down, and I even do that now. So here's my planner, and I kind of just have everything that I need to accomplish in it. And then I also keep a to-do list. So my to-do list is basically focused around immediate things that I have to do. So I know I have to finish my final draft for my concept paper. I know I have to find an apartment soon. But this stuff is just I have my class schedule on here and stuff like that. It just helps with my anxiety when it comes to, not forgetting everything. Because if it's written down, then you're not constantly thinking oh, what do I have to do? And I know there's some people that don't have to write anything down. They just have this magical brain that just remembers everything and keeps everything organized. So if you're anything like me and knowing what you have to do for that day, that week, or that month, having a planner and having a to-do list, it's definitely going to save you some time. It's going to save you some heartache. So I recommended that to all of my undergrads when I was an academic success coach. Please just write stuff down so you don't forget class assignments. Also, just take advantage of the resources that are available. A lot of colleges have writing centers, they have career centers, etc. There's so many resources at your university, and a lot of them are found on the website. And you can also ask your academic advisor about these resources as well. Take advantage of these, because these resources are there for you as a college student to be successful. So if you have any questions about any of the content that I shared, if you would need more advice on any particular situation, just leave a comment, and I respond to all of my comments. I love hearing from people, and everyone comes from a different background. We all come from different walks of life, and we all see the world through our mind's eye, and we have different perspectives. If you do have any advice for anyone, if you are a current student or if you already been through school, just anything, if you have advice for college freshmen, please leave it below, because it's a scary time and so many people have been there. But you don't have to do this alone. Help is out there, and please just try to have a positive attitude, because your attitude towards the situation isn't nearly as important as the situation itself. I realize sometimes it's difficult to navigate life, and sometimes things happen that we have no control, and it's very unfortunate, but you do have a shot at this life. Please just don't ever feel like you're alone. There are so many people going through similar things and feeling similar emotions, but we just don't talk about it, and I'm trying to get better at that. So good luck to you on this new transition. Congratulations, and everything is going to work out. It always does. Bye, you guys.